Big-time boxing match in Vegas. Canelo versus Triple G trilogy going toe-to-toe for the first time in 4 years. And Canelo chopping away at the body with both hands. The 40-year-old Golovkin just not active enough, not the fighter he once was. And Canelo Alvarez defeats Triple G via unanimous decision and defends his undisputed super middleweight title. Canelo coming off a loss to Gennady Golovkin in May, just his second career professional loss, and he bounces back against Triple G. All right, here's a look at the results of the trilogy between Canelo and Triple G as the rivalry comes to an end. First fight in September of 2017 was ruled a majority draw, really a controversial bout there. Then a year later, Canelo won the middleweight title rematch via majority decision in a fight of the year contender. That was awesome. This fight, not that awesome, but you know, it's business as usual for Canelo, again, as he defeats Triple G via unanimous decision and defends his undisputed super middleweight title. Let's get some instant analysis. Welcome to CBS Sports combat analyst and co-host of the award-winning Morning Combat, Brian Campbell. Canelo versus Triple G trilogy going toe-to-toe for the first time in 4 years. Canelo wins via unanimous decision as it goes the distance, BC. How would you describe how this fight played out?
One-sided would be the best thing I can say here. We'll be telling our grandkids about one of this era's greatest rivalries. I don't think we're going to be mentioning this third fight that often. At 40 years old, there was a failure to launch for Gennady Golovkin. Could not get off with his jab, could not cut off the ring against a younger Canelo Alvarez, who in the 4-year gap since their second fight, well, he's moved up 2 weight classes, become the pound-for-pound king, really just diversified his game in so many levels. It was going to take a Herculean effort from Triple G. It was going to need offense, violence, and big-time chin issues in terms of recuperative abilities. At the end of the day, though, it was not the Triple G of old. It was an old Gennady Golovkin. The scorecards in this case, I don't know what to say about them, considering how disputed this series has been up to this point, with most experts believing Golovkin got a raw deal to get here. This time around, he narrowly edges out a decision in a fight that I scored 10 rounds to 2 for Canelo. And even those 2 rounds, in some cases, are generous for Golovkin finally coming to life just a bit in the second half of this fight.
Yeah, Canelo was coming off a loss to Gennady Golovkin in May. It was just his second career professional loss, an outcome that you predicted back in May here on CBS Sports HQ. You predicted the upset. What's this win mean for Canelo as he bounces back?
You know, it's weird. In some ways, it's a survive and advance. Had Canelo scored a knockout here, first time in the career of Triple G, that would have happened. It's really the cherry on top of the sundae for him against the key rival of his career and really maybe the second greatest fighter he's ever fought after Floyd Mayweather. Instead, a wide performance on my scorecard for Canelo, but not the Canelo we expected from the last few years. Could it have been wear and tear issues? It might be. After the fight, Alvarez essentially saying that he might have even broken his left hand leading in, yet fought through it no matter what. Wasn't really that effective with that, but walked in behind his high guard, and he actually had Gennady Golovkin going backwards in this fight, which is something you just did not see during that initial run for Golovkin, where he knocked out 23 straight opponents, set the middleweight title defense record. For Canelo, he said it. He's going to need some time off, need some time to heal, but he's already talking about this fall potentially getting back in the ring with Gennady Golovkin. We know he's a competitor. We know he wants to right that wrong. I think history might look at this trilogy, though, and this great rivalry, maybe how we kind of look at Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, number 3. A lot to talk about the first 2 fights against one another there, but by the time that third one came around, Duran too old, Leonard did what he had to do. For me, that was Canelo Alvarez tonight. Survive, advance. You like that they were sportsmen afterwards. They settled their beef. But I don't think this does much for him outside of giving him, let's say, the first clear win in this rivalry for Alvarez overall.
Well, perhaps we see a trilogy between Canelo and Bivol one day. We'd like to see the rematch. We know Canelo wants to have the rematch, as he said, as much. And remember, he moved up weight classes. Just his second fight at light heavyweight in that fight back in May. And it was Bivol, who is now a perfect 20-0, will be coming into that fight if that happens. When you watch that fight, and again, you predicted the outcome that Bivol would defeat Canelo. What's the path for victory this time then for Canelo?
It's going to have to be something different. What has made Canelo great? His adaptability, his versatility. We didn't see a lot of that in the Bivol fight just 4 months ago because Bivol is a natural light heavyweight, has an incredible amateur background, and used perfect timing power shots at the right time to keep the smaller Alvarez away. That was a humbling experience for Alvarez, but I mentioned he's a competitor. He wanted to run that back the next week if they were able to schedule that. He's going to have to come in there with a much different game plan, not get caught behind that jab like he did early in this series against Golovkin, and really do his best to get inside. A big body attack has been a big focus of the second half of Alvarez's career, and something that he didn't have great success with against Bivol. Bivol is so technically strong that Canelo's going to have to flip the script on him. He's going to have to get a little bit more aggressive and wild and take some more chances. But the thing at the end of the day that I think separated Golovkin and Alvarez in this rivalry was that Canelo just has too many ways to win. He's too smart. He's too adaptable. Look for him to implement that in the Bivol rivalry to, as you said, try to extend that to a potential trilogy, or at the very least, win back a light heavyweight title and prove that you may be able to beat Canelo once, and very few have in this career. Can you do it a second time? We've yet to see that yet.
Yeah, that'd be something to see for sure. Looking forward to the rematch, Canelo versus Bivol, whenever that happens, and you'll be here to break it down for us. As for this night, Canelo bouncing back against Triple G in the trilogy. Brian Campbell here on CBS Sports HQ. BC, thanks. And hey, for all things combat, check out the award-winning Morning Combat with Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell. You can watch the series on YouTube. You can also listen to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Morning Combat. Download and subscribe today.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.